On my other video when I talked about cut zombie maps, I did promise I was going to talk about the other cut content. Well, for this video I'm going to deliver on this promise, but it's going to be a short one because I'm going to be talking about some of the cut wonder weapons and weapons too that were supposed to be in zombies. So this was a short list because I'm using most of the information from the Call of Duty wiki. So I'm going to combine of all the zombies modes that were made from every Call of Duty game. Well, basically from Call of Duty World at War to Call of Duty World War II Zombies. The other zombies modes for Vanguard, Cold War, and well, for Z, not enough cut content has been revealed yet. Anyways, before I get into the video, I want to talk about something about my channel first. In my Black Ops 2 video, I started a sub-goal. The sub-goal was to hit 5k. So when I hit that mark, I'm going to do a Q&A stream. So it will be my first stream for this channel. Well, I think I want to hit it around towards the end of August, so practically in 2 months. I would prefer if I hit it earlier. Right now I'm sitting at 2k subscribers, so I would appreciate any new viewers or any returning viewers who subscribe right now, and to check out my other stuff too. But with that out of the way, let's go back into the video. World at War. World at War did not have any cut wonder weapons. Despite being the first of the Call of Duty Zombies franchise, well, it didn't have any information about cut wonder weapons. But did at least have some cut weapons that were supposed to be from campaign and be intended to be used for multiplayer and zombies. Basically, they're the same thing as they're going to basically be transferred over to zombies. With the first gun, the Bren. Bren was an LMG that was used by the British Army. This LMG, apparently for Wikipedia, lasted till 2006. It was in service from 1930 well to 2006. This gun is very old and was intended to be used in World War for the campaign. As well, in the future, I'm going to do a video on the other extra stuff that was cut from every Call of Duty campaign, even to some cancelled Call of Duty games too. The Bren was one of the weapons that was intended for the British campaign, but ended up getting cancelled. The images we have is the model of it and the created class icon, and has some leftover animations, as the animations are similar to Call of Duty 2. Obviously, since this was cut early in development, there is no pack-a-punch weapon name for this, or even a model of it. But by speculation, we can safe to say that the Bren was supposed to be used in Zombies too, but didn't seem the limelight of day. And also too, since I talked about the cut British campaign, there was 2 more British weapons that were supposed to be intended for zombies. One, the bolt action to Lee Enfield, would have joined the family of bolt action rifles inside World at War. That's the same thing as the Bren, as has all the extra stuff about the icons and the extra animations in it. That's all the information we have about the Lee Enfield. Now the last British weapon is the Sten. It's a submachine gun and is one of the most cheapest weapons that British could ever produce. As during World War II they mass produced this weapon since it had low cost. So in a sense it's kind of weird that they didn't include the Sten, but then again they did have the Type 100 which is similar to the Sten but by a little bit. They almost look identical if you look at some of the pictures, but they're really different as they're different ammo type. And also too, the Sten did outproduce the Type 100, as the Type 100, well, gun wasn't produced as much, as opposed to the Sten, as the Sten had 3.7 million units, as that's how much it was produced. As for the Type 100, well, it is believed to be around 10,000. So yeah, the Sten outbeats Type 100 in terms of production. Also too, the Sten was used in some partisan groups around Europe. So it was really weird why they didn't add this gun. Like I said earlier, players might get confused with the Sten and the Type 100 because I was one of those people that got confused when playing old World War II games. I got them really confused. I thought the Type 100 was a British weapon too, and I thought the Sten was a Japanese weapon. But then again, I was a kid and well, was really dumb. But like with the other British weapons, there's models, icons, and animations with it. You can access them with the mod tools, but I don't have the mod tools or even know how to access them, but they're there. There's 2 more weapons, but I'm gonna leave the coolest one as the last entry. One of the cut weapons is the PPSH-43, which is a variant of the PPSH, but the one we get in the game is the PPSH-41, which is the wooden stock. The Soviets designed this gun to be a cheaper alternative to the PPSH-41. But they ended up dropping this project because, well, the PPSH-41 was already in mass production and, well, it didn't really make sense to replace this gun with that gun. But still was heavily used in World War II, but ended up having 2.2 million units, but the PPSH-43 being produced. It is unclear why they cut this weapon, but I think they cut it because it's probably too similar to the 41, because, well, they are basically variants of each other. Wouldn't make sense to have the same gun, as well. The 43 is slightly different than the 41, as well the 43 is just more metal. This gun was cut in early in development, as it does not have a created class image, but just a model icon. Same with the British weapons, it even hit the production of zombies yet. Now I saved the last for the cut weapons for World at War, as apparently we were supposed to get a katana. This weapon would have been really badass if we got it. Imagine using this in Shino Numa, it would have been really cool, but it sucks that this content was cut. But out of all the cut weapons, it seems that this weapon was nearly completed. As in the game files, apparently it appeared that you could pick it up off the ground. So that suggests that it was nearly completed, but ended up getting scrapped altogether for no reason. Probably had to do with the crunch time they have for World at War, so they end up scrapping it and had to fix on the other stuff too. So this awesome weapon ended up getting scrapped. But it's kind of interesting that they dealt with melee weapons back in the day, but they probably didn't intend it for zombies yet, as this was really early in development, as zombies was barely just a concept. Those are all the cut weapons for World at War. Now for Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1. Now for Black Ops 1, compared to World at War, Black Ops 1 had a lot of cut weapons. Even one that was supposed to be intended for multiplayer, and a lot of weapons that were finished but never made into zombies. And even 2, there's 3 cut wonder weapons. And I'll save the wonder weapons for the last part. So let's start with the first weapon, the Model 1887. So basically the weapon from Modern Warfare 2, you know, the lever action shotgun? Well, that was supposed to be intended for the campaign. This gun was intended to be used for multiplayer, but then got a brief appearance in the Vorkuta mission, and that was it, as it seems to be cut in development is that you can't even use it at all. It was just a model, but that's about it. Like with World of War, it is safe to say that this weapon could have been probably used in zombies. But that weapon is the only weapon that never got to seem to be developed. There are 7 weapons that were intended for zombies, but these weapons were fully developed for multiplayer and campaign, was never implemented into zombies. The first weapon, the AK-47. At first, I was kind of surprised that they didn't include this weapon, but then again, it's probably a Mandela effect, probably thinking of the AK-74U, which is one of the weapons you could buy on the wall, and it's a pretty decent wall buy. I think I got confused, but basically this was a variant of the AK-47. And another thing where I got confused is that the AK-47, well, you can get it in Mob of the Dead. That's only for BO2, so I was kind of surprised to see the AK-47 on the cut weapons list, as this weapon was half finished. There's a Pack-a-Punch variant, which is called the Red Mist, and apparently one of the attachments was a flamethrower. If you haven't played BO1, there's some weapons that have attachments like the shotgun attachment. It seems the AK-47 would have joined in that family too. Was half finished and was weirdly cut out for no reason. The other gun, the KS-23, supposed to be in zombies, but same thing with the AK-47 was half finished. Same with the Kit Press, but with this one there was a Pack-a-Punch variant and you could dual wield it, and even has textures for it. I guess the dual wielding would have been a Pack-a-Punch variant of it, but would have been really cool. The other versions like the Scorpion has a Pack-a-Punch version of it, the Stoner 63 has another Pack-a-Punch version of it, and the Wall 2000. There's another Pack-a-Punch version for that. But all these were weirdly cut out for no reason. They had full models for multiplayer and campaign, but never got intended to be used in zombies. But one of the last weapons, which is surprising that got cut, since well basically this is an upgrade version of World at War, and some of the World at War weapons pass over with some little changes of it. Also too with the Resurrection DLC pack that we get every World at War map. We were supposed to get the flamethrower for Keynote or Tilden and 5. As basically this is the same version used in World at War. There wasn't that much things they could do, they could just transfer it and that was it. There's even some cut quotes from the characters from 5 and Keynote or Tilden, which means they were almost done transferring it but just scrapped it altogether for no reason. Flamethrower will never make an appearance again until Black Ops 4 when you can use it as a specialist weapon. Ever since that, it has never came back. Those were all the normal weapons that were cut. Now for the wonder weapons. First cut wonder weapon was called the Sabertooth. And apparently it works like a chainsaw. The way how it looks and the way it looks like how it can do damage, and even to how the animation of it's being held. But they did have animation but have the model, but never fully completed this wonder weapon. Apparently this wonder weapon would have been unique because it would use gas for ammo. As for the magazine size, it would have been 999. And apparently if you Pack-a-Punch it, it would have been nearly 1 million. This would have made it easily the largest ammo capacity for a gun in the zombie series. Apparently there was another variant that was planned called the Sabertooth 360, which would have been a smaller version of the Sabertooth. It seems like this weapon was intended for Keynote or Tilden because it was cut very early on. Just like with World at War, that means they were playing on melee weapons very early on too. For some reason this weapon was really cut out for no reason. It seems like they were almost done, they just needed a texture in the model and that was it. They probably took it out for balancing issues or something else altogether. Maybe one day we'll get this cut wonder weapon in the future. Now on to the Shrink Ray. We did get the Shrink Ray, which is the one for Shangri-La. There were so much iterations of the Shrink Ray before it got the finalized product. I'm going to show you the cut concept art for the Shrink Ray. Some of them are really interesting, and maybe one day, like with the Sabertooth, we'll see another iteration of a wonder weapon probably rework into one of these concept arts. Apparently for all these weapons, apparently they're rechargeable. So if you melee the zombies, you will get your ammo back. And for some of these weapons, they have bayonets to the end of them. Very makeshift bayonets, as some use bones and some use a different knife altogether. An iteration looks like to be a flare gun. The end of it of an ivory bayonet to attach to it. And with this one, like with the same with all of them, you can replenish your ammo if you stab zombies. There's another one that looks like to be a makeshift RPG, and at the end of it, it has a wheel attached to it. Apparently when you fire it, it would rotate and it would glow along the way. There will be several lights on it indicating that if it was fully charged. But apparently for the Shrink Ray, I think it would have been seen like as a beam-like weapon for the RPG. As for opposed to the pistol, it will probably have been something similar to the ray gun. Third iteration is the China Lake. With the RPG, it's very makeshift and all put together really badly. Then with the RPG, apparently the gun would light up indicating the charge and the amount of ammunition it has. And apparently for the bayonet, attached to it is a golden statue. So I think for this iteration of the China Lake for the wonder weapon of the Shrink Ray, I think it would have taken an explosive one similar to the one in Call of the Dead with the sniper rifle. Next iteration, it looks similar to the one seen in Chaos Storyline with that wonder weapon with the last map. I forgot what the wonder weapon was, but this looks similar to it. I'm talking about as the weapon type. As for this iteration, apparently it would just hook onto your arm. It's just straight up an artifact and you just use it as a weapon.
as it coils around your hand, as apparently for this iteration it was a hold and charge gun. The longer you held the gun, the more damage it did, and apparently too once you held the charge, gems will light up along the tail, and it will light up how much charge it had to hold. Next one, which seems to be replicating the flare gun, be a little bit different from the first one, would have been probably similar to a ray gun or a pistol type like gun. Apparently when the gun was depleted of its charge, you had to melee zombies in order to recharge it, and the more zombies you killed by meleeing them, the greater their charges and the more damage it does. Seems like this gun would have been an infinite ammo gun. And to the bayonet, apparently it's a sacrificial blade. That was the concept for the shrink ray from page 1. There's another one. For this weapon on the page, it describes it as a bulldog-like weapon, which apparently combines the sacrificial wheel with another ancient sculpture. Apparently it seems to be like a beam-like weapon as it spins around when it fires. Another one with a big statue sticking out of the head, he had to grip it like a chainsaw or like a minigun. Apparently for this iteration, it would have been a melee type. When you shoot it, the statue brings out a horn and hits zombies with it. You can see why they scrapped this one altogether because it's more of a melee thing, and well, seems like the melee weapon trend started to die down. Next one, which used the same model of the flare gun of which one the first one I showed you. This gun was almost close to the Winter's Howl and the ray gun, so it probably would have been something similar to those two fire types. Apparently in the middle there would have been a statue in it, and that the statue was the main source of its ammo as it would charge up and spin around. For this weapon, apparently it would charge slowly on its own, almost basically an infinite ammo type gun. The thing is, we did see a final product of this gun, just not the whole thing, just the statue, as the statue is similar to the one seen on the final product of the shrink ray, or at least there's one thing that survived from the concept art. Another variant of the pistol, but instead uses a circular stone artifact in the middle. It seems to be similar design of the ray gun and also to the Winter's Howl. The stone artifact is what charges the weapon. Apparently for this weapon it only glows one color. There's another one that looks like it would be a large piece of equipment. The description says that it uses a large hunk of masonry, and that it is fitted with capacitors to draw out the energy from the masonry. It basically powers up the weapon. Just like with the other chainsaw variant, it looks like to be a two-handed weapon too. I'm not sure what weapon type would this have been. To me, the one was kind of looks like similar to a shotgun or probably something else entirely. Or even two might even look like a flamethrower. For the last iteration, which they call it the Villager Bell, as basically it's a subsection as another cut weapon is similar called to this. For this shrink ray, apparently the Village Bell would help power the device. The sound waves were intended to be used as the weapon, basically a pulse type weapon. When it's reloaded, apparently the bell will make a sound too, which is kind of funny that they included it, but it would have been really cool if they implement it. Those are all the shrink ray concepts. All of them are really similar that apparently you could recharge them or they had a recharging effect to all of them. But the final product we got, that didn't have it at all, as you have to wait for max ammo for it to be fully recharged. There's still one more last wonder weapon. They talk about the Village Bell, which is basically a subsection weapon of the shrink ray. Before we got the final product of the shrink ray, apparently they were going to do it with the Village Bell, as there's more work on it than the other concept arts. For this concept art, it's a revision of the original concept. I'll show it on the screen. It's just basically the same one as the original concept, that it might be a pulse-like type weapon. Those are all the wonder weapons for Black Ops 1. Other weapons too that I didn't mention because I found on our website called the Coding Floor Wiki, and they have more weapons here, but it's only a little bit of it. It's going to be rapid fire as the Black Ops 1 section is really the longest one right now. For one of the weapons we were supposed to get the Enfield for zombies, but there's a pack-a-punch variant of it, and there's models of it too. We were supposed to get the Scorpion, variant of the G11 but it has no scope, the Uzi, Mac 11, apparently a variant of the crossbow but not exploding, Thundergun, as apparently it's supposed to appear on 5, but we got it for Ascension and Kino der Toten. For that one, there's cut quotes from the presidents and the characters in 5 that talk about the gun. The original Wonder Waffle that was supposed to appear in Kino der Toten and 5 but got cut out for some reason, even the whole game altogether, because apparently you can only get it from Call of the Dead once you do the Easter egg. So that one takes more of an appearance of a death machine power-up, as you have it for a very limited time. Apparently they wanted this to be a staple weapon in Black Ops 1, but never did so. It's weird because it only works for the old World at War maps when you buy the Resurrection DLC. But with the other maps, they were supposed to be put in there together, but didn't get the chance to work on it or probably just scrapped it all together, because the whole model is really done and everything as just a copy of from World at War. And apparently there's some cut quotes from all the characters from 5 and Kino der Toten talking about the Wonder Waffle. And lastly, we were supposed to get the Grim Reaper for zombies. You know the kill streak that appears in multiplayer? We were supposed to get that in zombies, but was scrapped altogether, probably due to balancing issues, but then again probably for a different reason too. Apparently even too, this has a pack-a-punch version of it too. Maybe this weapon would have been the meta in Black Ops 1 and really broken, but it doesn't make any sense why they cut it. It would have been really cool if they added it, but still was cut for no reason. And those are all the cut weapons for Black Ops 1. I wasn't expecting Black Ops 1 to have a long list, but it did. So we're gonna go to Black Ops 2. Now Black Ops 2. Oh boy, this list is much longer than the Black Ops 1. There isn't any cut wonder weapons for Black Ops 2. So basically, same thing with World at War, we're just gonna read off the ones that were supposed to be intended for multiplayer and campaign. As well, you know too that most of the weapons from multiplayer gets transferred over to zombies. So let's get started. We were supposed to get the weapon, the XM25. The one from Modern Warfare 3 was supposed to be transferred over to Black Ops 2 and for zombies. This apparently has a string of text that you could buy the weapon off the wall, and even 2 has a created class icon for multiplayer. But the thing is, this weapon was cut early on. It's safe to say that it probably would have used the same animations from Modern Warfare 3. Also to the same stats from that too. We were supposed to get the Commando 2, the same one from Black Ops 1. It can be seen in behind the scenes video, but probably this is just a placeholder when they were testing out the game. Still some leftover code in the game, but it doesn't even appear in the final product. Which is weird because there's a ton of Black Ops 1 weapons that reappear in Black Ops 2. But the Commando was the most popular one from Black Ops 1, but never got the attention in Black Ops 2, which is really weird. Apparently we were supposed to get something that's titled called the old P90, but that would be probably the same weapons from Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. But in the wiki it says there's only a string of text that are found in the files. Probably a different version of the PDW or something else entirely. Apparently we were supposed to get the Thunder Gun that was supposed to replace the Jet Gun, but they ended up keeping the Jet Gun for transit. Apparently they were still testing with the Thunder Gun because you could buy it off the wall. There's a string of code that could be found in the files. Probably something similar with the Wonder Waffle. They wanted to keep the Thunder Gun in the Black Ops 2 maps, but end up scrapping it and just doing Wonder Weapons for every new map. Like with the Jet Gun with Transit. You know the Wonder Weapon I talked about back in Black Ops 1, the chainsaw one called the Sabertooth? It was apparently supposed to appear in Black Ops 2. It seems like this gun survived from Black Ops 1 and from Black Ops 2, which is really interesting. And I have no clue why they didn't bring in Black Ops 3 or any other future zombie titles. We're supposed to get the Scorpion, the same one from Black Ops 1, into Black Ops 2. We're supposed to get the RPK, which would have been something similar to the old Black Ops 1 weapons. It would just been a just ripped file from Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2. Some minor details changed because the Galil is different from Black Ops 1 from Black Ops 2, by a little. The RPK was replaced by the RPD. It is unknown if they actually replaced it, but it just might be a coincidence that they actually replaced it altogether with the RPD. Supposedly the Grim Reaper from Black Ops 1, you know the 4-quad missile launcher, was supposed to appear in Black Ops 2, in multiplayer and also 2 in zombies. I guess it would have the same stats like from the cut project from Black Ops 1. Remember with that one was almost halfly developed but ended up getting cut altogether. They were probably going to reintroduce it into zombies, but just end up scrapping it. We're supposed to get the Stoner 63 LMG, the same thing from Black Ops 1. Probably something similar to Grim Reaper. They were probably going to implement it into Black Ops 2, while it got cut for Black Ops 1. Same thing with the Caprice, same thing with Black Ops 1. They were supposed to have a dual-wield version in Black Ops 2. Same goes with the Mac 11, the AUG, the G11, the MPL, the PM63, the Enfield, the Stakeout, the WAW 2000. Same with all the weapons, they have a string of code that remains in the files. There's a pattern if you don't know this. Because in my other video when I talk about the cut maps, remember there was supposed to be a Zombie Chronicles version for Black Ops 2? Which they would remastered all the Black Ops 1 maps and including the World of War maps and put them in Black Ops 2. It's like what they did with the Resurrection DLC for Black Ops 1 where they transferred the World of War maps to Black Ops 1. For the Resurrection DLC, remember the wall buys? They still have the World of War weapons. So the only ways you could get the World of War weapons if you buy them off the wall. The mystery box just uses the collection of weapons from Black Ops 1. And it seems like they were going to do the same thing with Black Ops 2. They're going to have the Black Ops 1 weapons as just wall buys and have the Black Ops 2 weapons just in the mystery box rotation. Or would have probably done a mixture of both like in Black Ops 2 where you could get the Black Ops 1 weapons and the Black Ops 2 weapons in the same deal. And well, with that DLC for the Zombie Chronicles version for Black Ops 2, that ended up getting scrapped altogether. Same thing with the Black Ops 1 weapons. Some of them were going to be implemented after they cut DLC or just got cut early in development. Those are all the old weapons that were supposed to be implemented in Black Ops 2. Let's talk about some of the futuristic weapons that were supposed to be implemented into Black Ops 2. Supposed to be a cut rifle called the RX-4 Storm. There's a menu icon and a HUD icon that remains in the game files. Never got to reach model development or even animations altogether, so probably this weapon was cut early in development. The rocket launcher called the Sterla 3, which you could find in the campaign but was intended to be used in multiplayer. And safe to say, well, I shouldn't talk about this weapon because I don't think it was supposed to be used in zombies. Because the rocket launcher is an anti-aircraft rocket launcher. It'd be kinda useless in zombies unless they change the rocket launcher to a different value. There's a cut sniper rifle called the DTS-RS. Apparently it had 2 menu icons. Same with the RX-4 Storm, didn't have its model yet. Probably it was replaced by the DSR-50. Another assault rifle that was cut called the M4. You see the M4 in promotional art, but it was nowhere to be found in the actual game. With the other ones, they had an early menu icon but was scrapped later onto development, saying that it didn't have any model or anything else too. And in the wiki says it was most likely being replaced by the M27. There's a scrap shotgun called the W2000, and apparently this was a unique shotgun that only fired grenades. It was scrapped very early on in development, but can still be seen in the alpha footage of Black Ops 2. No clue how this weapon would work in zombies, but probably would have been another worse gun like the War Machine. The scrap minigun called the M61 Vulcan, but then again it's just a reused model from the Death Machine from Black Ops 1. These two weapons overlap each other as they're called the same thing. One is called the Type 95, which was a scrapped heavy machine gun, uses the same model from the HK-21 machine gun from Black Ops 1. And the other one, which has a similar name, instead it has a dash, which is called the Type-95, which seemed to be an early version of the Type 25. And this version was seen in the E3 demo. Scrapped handgun, which was the early version of the TAC-45, which was called the FMP-45, can be seen in the early alpha footage of Black Ops 2. TAR-21, which was an early version of the MTR, can be seen in the E3 demo. Gun called the Taz Sarge, which was an early version of the SMR, seen in alpha footage. Another weapon called the base weapon, but it's just basically the M4A1 gun model from Modern Warfare 3. There's a cut early version of the modern submachine gun carbine, the MSMC. The early version was called the Mini in SAS. Again, can be seen in the alpha footage. There's an early version of the S12, which was called the Sega 12. And like with the others, I'm going to keep saying it, it was seen in the alpha footage. And the last weapon to be cut from Black Ops 2 was called the Stakeout, the shotgun from Black Ops 1. It was a placeholder model for the Remington. Like with the others, it was seen in the alpha footage. There's one more weapon from the Call of Duty wiki from the cut content portion. Most of the weapons that were seen in the cut content portion for Black Ops 2 was also on the cutting room floor wiki. But the last weapon was a sniper rifle called the Lynx. This one was a semi-auto, and well, again, was cut in early development, and for no reason too. Like I said earlier with the other weapons, they were probably going to be implemented into zombies. But there are some weapons that were intended for zombies. One of the weapons, again from Black Ops 1, was the Dragunov. Well, good thing they didn't add this because the Dragunov sucks ass in Black Ops 1. Probably would have done the same thing in Black Ops 2. The Dragunov still has a text of code inside the game files. The AK-47 makes a reappearance because apparently it was supposed to appear in all the other maps, but only appears in Mob of the Dead. This next weapon is kinda weird because the M16, but the upgraded version of it where you get the attachment with the shotgun on the end. It was previously a wall buy, but they cut it out and they just put it next to the Pack-a-Punch variant. No clue why they included this weapon in the cutting floor room wiki, because apparently M1911 was cut as apparently you could buy it off the wall, but they're saying that it was used for testing purposes, so they just safe to say they used it for that. And we were supposed to get the spaz for zombies, as it appears in campaign but cannot be found in zombies. Again, as the text says in the wiki, there was no clear reason why it was not included in zombies. For these two new things, I'm not sure to include them because they're more of equipment more than less than weapons, but they can still classified as weapons under the wiki. I'm just gonna put them. One was the Bouncing Betty, and the other one was an interesting thing that was cut altogether, which was the Severed Head, as the Severed Head uses the model of Richthofen. As the Severed Head is just basically Richthofen. Well, you can classify as a weapon, but it's more of a power-up, as it was only exclusive for Grief. It works similar to zombie flesh that you could throw it at any player and then zombies would be heavily attached to them. You can find some footage of how it works on YouTube. So with the Severed Head out of the way, finally conclude Black Ops 2 as it has the most cut weapons out of all the Call of Duty series for zombies. Also too, I did include some of the weapons that were intended for campaign and multiplayer, but also too, probably going to be implemented into zombies whenever they got their finished design if they worked on it more. It's safe to say that most of the weapons were placeholders for the early parts of the game. But you know, this was the first time when Call of Duty was going futuristic. Even though Black Ops 2 is more near the future, and as of now it's more modern, seeing how some of the things seem similar to this day. This is a shameless plug because I did a video on Black Ops 2 campaign, and you could check it out when you finish with this video. But it will make sense that why there was a lot of cut weapons for Black Ops 2. This was their first time doing this, and well, they didn't want to screw it up. It is weird that they didn't include some of the most of the Black Ops 1 weapons. We did get some of the Black Ops 1 weapons in zombies, but not all of them. Would have been nice to just include them too. But Black Ops 2 is finished, and now to the first non-Treyarch zombies game, Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare. There are some cut weapons and one special cut weapon for zombies for Advanced Warfare. For the other ones, we're going to talk about the campaign and multiplayer cut weapons first, as again, they were probably going to be implemented to zombies later on in development, but never got the chance to. First cut weapon was the assault rifle, the M160. As this one was nearly completed, it was cut altogether for no reason, and you can still find the weapon in the achievement art, the 360. Also can be seen in pre-release footage. Next weapon, the RPG-7. The same RPG from Modern Warfare 3, but which was weird of why it was cut altogether. I cut it out because it didn't fit with the futuristic setting, but which is weird because I think the RPG-7 would have made sense in the futuristic setting as it's a low-cost weapon. We'll be some certain that some countries will use it and some insurgency groups will still use this weapon, as they're basically low cost from the old era of weaponry. It was weird that they didn't include this at all, but it may have been just a placeholder. There's another rocket launcher, the same one from Black Ops 2, the Small. It's just basically the same thing from Black Ops 2, but it's just an updated model of it. And lastly, the Javelin. It's the same one from Modern Warfare, and it was cut all together, but still can be found in the game files and the memory of the campaign. 2 more extra weapons that were cut, but these 2 were weird. One was called a multi-barrel shotgun, just called that, no special name for it as it's just a semi-auto shotgun. Well, I think it's just a weapon placeholder name. The other weapon is the bolt action pistol. The description of it found in the files uses the same one from the bolt action pistol in the actual game, RW1. Maybe it was just a placeholder with the other shotgun, maybe it was an really early in development but got scrapped altogether. Now with the bolt action pistol, probably that was a different version of the RW1, but then switched to the other one. It's weird they named it super generic, so that means it was really early on its development. Lastly, for one of the weapons, the Rhino, semi-auto revolver. If you ever played Battlefield 4, well, it's the same weapon as that. Apparently it has a HUD icon, but that's about it. It has multiple attachments to it. Was scrapped for no reason. Now to the cut zombie weapon. As apparently in the zombies mode, we were supposed to get a sword. That's its titled, called the Atlas Sword. The Atlas Sword would have been probably something similar to the World of War cut weapon with the katana. The Atlas Sword is just a melee weapon. Probably would have been something similar to the Bowie knife, or you could get it out of the 3D printer. It does look like you could two-hand it or one-hand it, but I'm not sure as there's not only just the icon of it. I wish they would implement this weapon into Advanced Warfare Zombies. I think it would have made it more unique, as Exo Zombies is kind of forgettable. But basically, I'm going to do a future video on Exo Zombies because in my opinion, I think it's one of the most forgettable zombies experiences in the Call of Duty franchise. But watch out for that video when it comes out. Atlas Sword is just too cool to be cut altogether. It is kind of funny that they've been trying to implement melee weapons into the zombie series, but just end up being scrapped altogether, which doesn't make any sense because melee weapons completely fit into zombies. Why were these melee weapons cut? Well, we'll never have a reason why. So those are all the cut weapons for Advanced Warfare and Exo Zombies. So back to Treyarch with Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3. Beginning with Black Ops 2, there is no cut wonder weapons, but there is an assortment of cut weapons. The cut rocket launcher cut the Chaser. It was a lock-on launcher, with no clue if it was an anti-air launcher or that you could lock it onto people. But it was cut in early in development, and it has a model too. Another rocket launcher called the EMP launcher, but it is unknown what it was used for, if it was a regular launcher or a specialist weapon. The sound files still remain in the game, but like with the other ones, probably cut in early development. The rocket launcher was the rocket launcher from Black Ops 2, the small was cut from Black Ops 3. The Snipes rifle was scrapped, but it had a really cool idea. It was a full auto assault rifle that had a hybrid mechanic. It was swapped from an assault rifle to a submachine gun. I think there's a gun that does it in Infinite Warfare, but I'm not sure yet because I have not played the game at all. Hybrid mechanic sounds familiar that I heard of a gun doing that in Call of Duty series. This hybrid assault rifle and SMG was called the MCAS. Obviously too, since it was switched from an assault rifle to a submachine gun, it changed how the gun performed. But this gun was seen in an earlier build of Black Ops 3, but was scrapped for unknown reasons. I feel like this gun would have been really cool in zombies. I think it was probably scrapped due to balancing issue because they had to balance out from the assault rifle and then switch it to the submachine gun because of that mechanic, but it's one possibility why it was scrapped, or they just didn't have any time to work on it. Another assault rifle called the Patriot, but it appears in the pre-alpha build, but nothing else is known about that gun. We're supposed to get the riot shield, another interesting gun that's called the robot gun. What makes it interesting is it's the gun from Advanced Warfare, the M160. It just has a pink texture and just has the KN-44 magazine on it. This was cut in early development. Now another assault rifle, the classic from Black Ops 2, the M27, was supposed to appear in Black Ops 3, but it was mostly used as a placeholder. I remember there were some videos in the back in the day that you would get the model out of nowhere from a weird glitch that would happen in the multiplayer session. That was it of the M27. And this one was supposed to appear in zombies. Because on the map The Rising Drug, if you use the console commands and obtain the weapon called HK416, you're able to get the M27. I tried it on The Rising Drug, and it looks to be working completely fine. They just needed to update the model and then just change the name and it would have been fine. It was really cut out for no reason because it's completely working fine. Maybe it was just a placeholder item because they also have the Remington, but that one was a placeholder for the other shotgun that appears in Black Ops 3, the KRM-262. There's other Black Ops 2 weapons in Black Ops 3, you could get from the supply drop. These two weapons were really good in zombies and it's weird that they cut it out. But probably had to do that since they were trying to make Transit remake into Black Ops 3, but ended up cancelling it. In my other video, I did talk about that Transit and Mob of the Dead were supposed to be remastered for Black Ops 3, but ended up getting scrapped. Probably these two weapons were supposed to appear on those maps, but ended up getting scrapped together like with the rest of them. The last cut weapon for Black Ops 3 was a pistol called the Cap 40. Apparently it appears in the campaign files and can be found on certain bodies. But I think this pistol is similar to the one from Black Ops 2, the machine pistol. And so those are all the cut weapons for Black Ops 3. On to Infinity Ward's take on zombies, Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare has some cut weapons, but not for zombies. Like with the rest, we're probably going to add them later on, so I'm going to still talk about them. Infinite Warfare, we were supposed to get the ACR. Guessing it would have been the same one from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Another iconic weapon that was cut out was the riot shield. Another weapon, the FMG-9 from Modern Warfare 3, was supposed to appear in Infinite Warfare, but was cut out for unknown reasons. And another weapon, which was a heavy machine gun, was the M-Mio. The machine gun from Cold War and from Ghost, the one that handles it, I think it's the Italian heavy machine gun. It was supposed to appear in Infinite Warfare but was cut out for known reasons. All these weapons appear in the game files. One more last weapon that's called the ARACC, but it is unknown what the type it was. It appears in the game files, but from what I'm thinking, from pure speculation, I think it was probably a futuristic weapon that was supposed to be implemented, but it ended up getting scrapped. Those were all the weapons for Infinite Warfare. For Infinite Warfare and for World War II, which is an X upcoming section, we have very limited information on what was cut. So for these two games, they're going to be really short. But anyways, on to Call of Duty World War II. Call of Duty World War II. Call of Duty World War II has one of the most shortest weapons lists that were cut from all the series. It has two cut weapons, the Type 99 LMG and the Carcano M1938. These two guns were supposed to appear in World War II but didn't and was cut for unknown reasons. From the wiki, Call of Duty World War II has the least cut content in terms of zombies. So that was Call of Duty World War II. Now on to the final game, Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 has some assortment of weapons that were cut, and now, thank God, Wonder Weapons too. First, let's talk about the normal weapons, and then we'll end off this video with talking about the Wonder Weapons. For Black Ops 4, most of the weapons were from Black Ops 3 and were supposed to be transferred over. So the KN-44 that was supposed to be transferred over can still be seen in the game files and can be seen in one of the map. We're supposed to get the HVK-30. Apparently, there's a leftover HUD icon for that gun. We're supposed to get the FFAR, which was going to be the FAMAS, but it was going to be a 4-round burst. But this gun appears in the pre-alpha build from early 2017. We're supposed to get the BRM, the light machine gun from Black Ops 3, but there's still leftover HUD icons for the gun. We're supposed to get the SVJ-100, but it only appears in HUD icons, but only in UI concepts. We're supposed to get the Dracon, but only appears in the 9 trailer, in the Zombies trailer. We're supposed to get the MR6, you know, the starting pistol from Black Ops 3 Zombies, and also to the regular pistol in multiplayer, was cut out for no reason. You're supposed to get the KRM-262, but again, cut out for no reason, and still has leftover HUD icons in the game files. You're supposed to get the Brecci, but it only appears in the Chaos Story trailer. And finally, the last weapon that was supposed to appear was the minigun, the Death Machine. I think this is the Death Machine by itself. Only the icon remains, but it seems like they were trying to do the same thing like what they did with Mob of the Dead, where you could get the Death Machine out of the mystery box. It is very likely that this gun was cut in early in development, as it was probably repurposed to be the specialist weapon for Tank Dempsey, since he is the one by default to use the minigun. There's another weapon called the GKS SMG that was cut from Black Ops 4. Later appeared in the later franchise with Cold War. For this weapon, for the GKS SMG, it appeared as a placeholder for Black Ops 4, the earlier builds of the game. The weapon, the knife, apparently was cut out from Black Ops 4. It was the knife from Black Ops 3 specifically. It's kind of weird because the knife from Black Ops 3 appears in Cold War. It doesn't make any sense because it's just a knife, so it's kind of weird that this was cut out. And lastly, one of the last weapons that was cut out was a riot shield, the specific one for zombies, as this one takes the model from Black Ops 2 of that riot shield. It's likely that this was a placeholder. And again, it was probably going to be used for the Black Ops 2 maps that were supposed to be remade in Black Ops 4. My other video when I talk about the cut maps, I did talk about that they were going to remake Transit and Buried for Black Ops 4. They ended up getting scrapped altogether, so probably the riot shield was one of these victims too. But for all the other weapons, it is kind of weird that they were cut out. They're all from Black Ops 3, but it seems like they were going to add them on later on. I'm not sure yet because I know Black Ops 4 was the last game to have the supply drops. Because I know there's some Black Ops 3 weapons in Black Ops 4, but I might be wrong on that because it's been a very long time I ever played the multiplayer, or even touched that game. But it's likely all these weapons were probably placeholders, or being the semi-upgraded version of those weapons because I know Black Ops 4 takes like 20 years before the events of Black Ops 3. It's halfway into the future, so they're probably going to do something different. Black Ops 4 has a lot of cut content. Maybe I'll do a video on the whole cut content basis for Black Ops 4. Anyways, those are all the normal weapons. Now we're going to talk about the cut Wonder Weapons. There are 4 cut Wonder Weapons for Black Ops 4. 2 are from the Chaos storyline. This Wonder Weapon was called the Amulet Fist. It was cut from the Chaos storyline as it would have been a handheld amulet with a melee attack and a second ability similar to the Primordial Hands from Ancient Evil. It was later reworked into the Eye of Apophis. This was another Amulet Fist type of weapon, or a melee weapon, or probably a beam weapon, but it's called the Hands of Gaia. It's supposed to appear in Ancient Evil. The weapon is found in the game, but it has no function at all. Probably would have been something similar to the melee weapons in Ancient Evil. Those were the 2 cut Wonder Weapons for the Chaos storyline. Let's talk about the other 2 that were cut for the Aether storyline. One of these Wonder Weapons would have brought back the Jet Gun from Transit. You know, the one that's the best and the worst Wonder Weapon because the Transit Wonder Weapon blows up when you overuse it. Probably they were going to slightly rework it when they were doing the Transit map because they were remaking the Transit map for Black Ops 4 but ended up getting scrapped, which I talk about in my other video. Apparently they were working on a rework because it says that in one of the commands says that it never overheats. If they implemented it in the game, this would have been probably the best Wonder Weapon of all time. You know, the Jet Gun infinitely sucks the zombies off and kills them instantly. Since Transit got cut, that got axed too. The last cut Wonder Weapon, which is really surprising, was the original Wonder Waffle DG2. That was supposed to appear in Tagdor Tilton. Tagdor Tilton has a Wonder Waffle, but it's a different variant of it. The model does load and tag the Rotelton, but it cannot be used at all, and even 2 had an upgraded model too, but it was cut out for no reason. So concludes the list of all the cut weapons for every Treyarch zombies, and even to the non-Treyarch created ones, but this was only about old zombies. But anyways, to the closing thoughts. Like I said at the end of my video, the cut maps, there's probably more wonder weapons and weapons that were probably cut out of content, but they were just spread by word of mouth. They never reached the concept phase or even were fully talked about further on. It's most likely there's much more wonder weapons that were cut, and also 2 weapons that were cut altogether. But we'll never know because a lot of people forgot what they said a long time ago. And plus 2, in some of the game files, there's probably more cut wonder weapons that have probably not been data mined yet. The same thing goes with the other weapons too. So maybe one day we'll see more cut weapons. But now I'm not fully done with the cut content for all the zombie modes. Still a ton, and I'll probably do another video which is going to be bigger than this one and the last one. Talks about all the extra cut content. Wasn't expecting this video to be larger than the last one, but it's just kind of my fault because I talked about every weapon. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also to follow my Twitter account as I have it, link in the description. But anyways, I hope you guys have a nice day. This is Mazer Argo signing out.